And good evening, everyone, and welcome in to the UFC Fight Cards podcast. Once again, I am Russ Renault. Thanks for joining us here after the UFC Fight Night between Jared Cannonier and Nasruddin Imavov. And that was the main event from Louisville, Kentucky tonight, so we will take a look at all the action. Before we get to all that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in last weekend for UFC 302 as we did live coverage. We watched the main event together. I couldn't show it to you, but I could give you the play-by-play, and a lot of people tuned in. A lot of people watched later. It's our most watched show ever, so we're going to do that going forward. We'll be back for UFC 303 doing that same thing. I mean, obviously, we're going to be back next week and the week after that, but I just can't say thank you enough for everybody who watched. So hopefully you enjoyed that and you subscribe and like what we're doing here, and especially as we continue to do that. And for the pay-per-views, we'll be on live for the main event, and then we'll talk about it like we do here right after it. So I'm going to try to keep these shows a little bit more brief as we go through some of the key results, and then we talk about some of the things that have been added going forward. And so, like I said, can't appreciate it enough. We've been doing these instant reactions for a little bit. Then we decided to step it up a notch last week and just go ahead and go live for the main event and bring that to you for everybody who couldn't watch it yourself. That you found a place to get some play-by-play action and see that result. So I can't appreciate that enough. And we saw a lot of good results, and glad we could bring that to you. So let's get into it. So Fight Night from Louisville, Kentucky tonight. And in the main event, an upset with Nasruddin Imavov, number 8th ranked fighter in the middleweight division, taking down Jared Cannonier, who was maybe one result away from a title shot, but he couldn't get it done. So Nasruddin Imavov with the TKO in the 4th round, and kind of a controversial stoppage. It did seem, it was going Imavov's way, very much so. Had Cannonier kind of running around the octagon. The optics were not good, but, you want to see it play out a little bit longer. I would think, usually I'll defend the referees for stepping in, that they know better than we do what's going on, but this is the one time where I'll say probably could have seen a little bit more, maybe give Cannonier a little bit more chance to get out of this situation he put himself in, but running around the octagon is not the optics you're going for, and Imavov was kind of teeing off there a little bit, but I don't think enough to get a stoppage yet. So probably the right result, but you wanted to see it go a little bit longer than that. So that's about all we can say about that. Short stoppage, but in the end, that was the way the fight was going, and that's probably the way it was going to end up anyway, unless Cannonier just pulled rabbit out of the hat. So can't complain with the result too much. Probably just the way we got there. It's not exactly what we wanted to see. So co-main event, number 15, Dominic Reyes in the light heavyweight division, a former title challenger, taking on Dustin Jacoby, and Dominic Reyes getting the TKO in the 2nd round. So, he looks great. It's just, you just out of sight, out of mind. You just don't think about him. And since he fought John Jones 4 years ago for the title, we've only seen him 4 times, so average of once a year. Didn't see him at all in 2023. So coming off almost a 2-year layoff, and you just kind of forget about him. And he showed why he, fought John Jones. And the 4 losses he's had were just against, the best in the division. So putting himself right back up there and kind of making his way back, see how much he has left in the tank. But great to see out of Dominic Reyes tonight. Kind of the other big one that we're going to look at, Raul Rosas Jr. getting the submission over Ricky Tercios. And so, this one was a long time in the making. They had to move this one because of Raul Rosas Jr.'s illness a couple of months ago. And, he did not disappoint. And we know that some luster was lost on that star with that loss a couple of times ago, but he just looked great with that rear naked choke on Tercios tonight. Got the tap and right back on track. He's so young, and I guess that's why we forgive that more than we do some older fighters, just because he is so young. He made a mistake and, didn't get it done, his second time out, but he looked phenomenal since. So hats off to him. We know there's great things to come for him, and he's going to be one of the faces of the UFC for probably a long time to come. So we'll just see him grow and grow the longer he goes. So just not a whole lot else on this card that we really want to get into. So we'll just kind of move ahead to next week, and then also what we have coming up on the schedule. A couple of announcements were made this week, and we will get to those in just a minute. We get ready for this next segment as we look up one of those announcements that was recently made this week. We'll get to that in just a minute. Let's go to next week and Fight Night from the Apex. And, the headliner is a great fight. The rest of it, it could go either way, take it or leave it. Alex Perez against Tatsuro Taira in the flyweight division. Perez ranked number 5, Taira ranked number 13. Obviously, Tatsuro Taira, one of those hot rookies from the 2023 trading card products, and a lot of people looking forward to what he can do, and so he'll get his chance against a top 5 opponent next week. Co-main event there is Andre Muniz and Ikram Alaskarov in a middleweight matchup. Just seeing what else is on the card next week. Down the flyweight division as well, number 12, Tagir Ulanbekov against Joshua Van. Ulanbekov ranked number 12. Jimmy Flick, Nate Maness, another flyweight matchup. So a lot of flyweight matchups next week. And of course, whenever we mention Jimmy Flick, we like to throw that in there. Just appreciate Jimmy for sending this back to us. So always give him a shout out when his name is on the schedule. So we kind of went through that card last week when we wrapped up after UFC 302. So we're not going to spend as much time on that one. So then we get into another fight night from Saudi Arabia on June 22nd. Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev, a huge middleweight matchup. Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov in a heavyweight fight. Light heavyweight matchup, Johnny Walker, Volkan Ozdemir, Kelvin Gastelum, Daniel Rodriguez, Sharo Magomedov, and Joatan Loderbach. So that's the main card. Just a great card they are putting together there in Riyadh. The first trip to Saudi Arabia, long-awaited trip. So then we've got the big one, obviously, UFC 303. And, some doubt has been thrown on to this card at this point with Conor McGregor. And don't know if it's founded or not. But right now, it's all go. So McGregor against Michael Chandler in a welterweight contest. We got Jamal Hill, Carlos Ulberg, a light heavyweight matchup. Hill ranked number 3, Ulberg number 11. We saw Alexander Volkanovski said he's ready to step in and save this card if need be. That would be interesting to see. You don't know which way he would go with that. If he would fight Chandler, maybe at a lower weight. Who knows? But then you got Mayra Bueno Silva, Macy Chiasson, Joe Pyfer, Marc-Andre Barrios. That's a great middleweight fight. And Ian Gary, Michael Page in the main card. So very solid for UFC 303 if that stays together. Hopefully it does. Haven't seen anything new on July 22nd for that fight night, but actually July 20th. But we do have one of the announcements this week that we will have Maycee Barber and Rose Namajunas in the flyweight matchup. Namajunas number 6, obviously former strawweight champion, and Maycee Barber number 4. We kind of got into the prediction game here a little bit in the past, and I just like Maycee Barber early in this one. She just looked phenomenal, just on her way up. So really looking forward to seeing that. Mike Malott, Gilbert Urbina, Drew Dober on this card, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Muslim Salikov. So putting together a pretty decent card there for July 13th in Denver. So Rose Namajunas is going to have a little bit of a hometown advantage there. But obviously still waiting for a main event for July 20th. Had a couple of fights added to that card as we look at that right now. But then we get to UFC 304 from Manchester, July 27th. Leon Edwards against Bilal Muhammad in their second matchup. Tom Aspinall against Curtis Blades for the second time. So Tom Aspinall trying to avenge his only loss in that interim heavyweight championship on the line in that fight. Edwards obviously and Muhammad with the welterweight title, so should be a great night of fights with Bobby Green facing Paddy Pimblett and Arnold Allen, Giga Chikadze, Daniel Wood, Daniel Pineda, Muhammad Makayev, Manel Kopp. So great fight. Molly McCann on that card, trying to continue her way back after some devastating losses. So then we get to fight night on August 3rd in Abu Dhabi. Corey Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Vicente Luque, Nick Diaz. A big fight with Nick coming back. Marlon Vera against Davison Figueiredo. Mackenzie Dern against Lupe Godinez. A nice women's strawweight matchup. And Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa. So a huge card coming up in Abu Dhabi. So then we know UFC 305 is August 17th in Perth, Australia. Fight night, September 28th in Paris. And UFC 308 is scheduled for October 26th in its return to Abu Dhabi. So really quick turnaround, little 2 months between those Abu Dhabi cards. And that's about all we have lined up here for the UFC in the near future. And we'll always let you know what's coming down, what we're hearing about, some of the things we see during the week, some rumored matchups, but everything's kind of out there. The big one this week was just McGregor. That press conference getting canceled on Monday did not sit well with a lot of people. So I wonder what's going on with McGregor. But if we were insiders, we would know. But we don't. So fight's on as far as we know. And we'll stick with that until we hear something different and let you know next week what else is going on. So let's take a look before we wrap up. Would have been nice for our little collection here if Jared Cannonier had pulled out a win tonight. But 2 numbered cards. Jared Cannonier still left. Donruss, blue laser, and a red. So the red's number 75, blue to 49. Just a couple of other things to throw in there. Going back to last week, Islam Makhachev. This 23 Prism, number to 49. A lot of other Islam cards to throw in there as well. And we'll list all these on eBay. Kind of cleared out the eBay store this week. I made a big sale on Khabib Nurmagomedov, what we had left of Khabib. But you can always catch our store, and it's called Orange Fire Lots of Lots on eBay. And like I said, I kind of cleared everything out and getting ready to put everything back on. So those 2 lots will be on there, as well as these, as we show some more. Conor McGregor, got a couple of numbered cards here. One numbered to 99. It's Rookie and Stars from 2001. number to 149. And then those basically, that's what you buy. And then I will throw all the rest of this in as well. So a lot of stuff going back to some Topps 2015. And then on the other side, Michael Chandler, his next opponent, we hope. Got an auto left of Chandler, number to 49 there, a rookie card. Got a few rookies of Chandler. So then all these to just throw in there. Also got some Hamzat left. These will be going up. I'm going to pull those out right now, but you can see that we got quite a few Hamzat cards. Those two stacks right there. Little Shavkat Rakhmonov, a numbered card there from 2023. As well as a couple of rookies that we throw in there. Got a nice stack of rookie cards. I think those are mostly base, or maybe a silver prism in there. Like I said, you can reach out to me directly if you want anything. Russ at orange-fire.com. You can go to our website, orange-fire.com, where you find links to the podcast and the links on YouTube, as well as our store for Shopify for our Houston area brewery maps and all of our brewery maps that we create at Orange Fire Media. So kind of do a whole lot of things. Kind of pare it down, though, trying to do a few things better, which is why we did the show that we did last week. And once again, if you missed that, then we will be doing it again for UFC 303 on June 29th. We will be covering the main event live. I'll be watching it. I'll be telling you about it. I can't show it, obviously, for copyright reasons. I can't have the sound on, but if you are not buying the pay-per-view, you can't get to a TV, that I will be giving that play-by-play for the main event that night. So I'll be on as soon as Bruce Buffer announces the fighters, and we'll go live. And so if you want to spread the word to everybody else that that's what we're doing, love to have everybody in, love to chat about it a little bit. So you can leave your comments, your questions on the chat. You can email me directly, like I said, Russ at orange-fire.com, and just reach out on the show, leave a comment, and we will get to any questions or comments anybody has. So next week, we are back to the Apex on June 15th, and we'll be here after that next weekend. Alex Perez, Tatsuro Tairo, we'll talk about that and anything else that happens in the UFC over the coming week. Anything that's announced, we will get to it. So appreciate you stopping by here for a few minutes, and looking forward to seeing you again next week. And then once again, we'll blow it out on the next pay-per-view. I'm Russ Renaud. This is the UFC Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media, and we will see you next weekend from the Apex in Las Vegas. Good night, everybody.